if you're thinking of going into accountancy as a career path, or indeed you're thinking of switching career paths and you're thinking of navigating into the world of accountancy, today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things I wish I knew before I actually started my career in accountancy. Okay, so I've been a qualified accountant based here in the UK for over 80 years now, and I feel like there's a lot of things I really wish I had known ahead of actually starting this journey. And I'm hoping that some of these things I'm going to share today will be helpful for you if you're actually looking to start your career in accountancy. Now, the very first thing I wish I knew before starting my journey as an accountant is the fact that work experience makes the qualification process so much easier. Take it from me, okay? I feel like people who actually take on relevant work experience either as part of the qualification process as they're taking the qualification, or even preferably before they start the qualification, generally always tend to do better at taking the exams because they already understand it from a practical sense. So putting the theory and the practical parts of it together is much easier, and it makes the qualification process a whole lot more seamless for them. So if you can do this, then by all means please do. And by the way, I did make a video on how and where you can gain relevant work experience if you're looking to get into accountancy here in the UK. So I'll be sure to leave that video down in the description box below, and I'll also pin it somewhere up here so you can watch that after you watch this. Now, the second thing I wish I knew before I became an accountant here in the UK is the fact that maths is completely overrated. Okay, if you are stressing out that you are not comfortable with numbers, you absolutely hate maths, I wouldn't let that necessarily put you off pursuing a career in accountancy, just because I feel like if you know the basic maths, okay, if you know how to add, how to subtract, how to divide, just basic maths, you should be fine. You don't need to master, algebra concepts and calculus and things like that. You really do not need, maths at A-level degree necessarily for you to be a competent accountant. You don't need it necessarily for you to actually qualify. But I do think that having a basic level, somewhat feeling comfortable with basic mathematical concepts will help you through the qualification process if you're looking to actually switch into accountancy. The third thing I wish I knew before becoming an accountant is the fact that Excel is king, okay? If you ask any accountant, irrespective of the sector that they work in, I think they would definitely agree with this point, okay? There is no accounting role that you are going to come across that is not going to require you to have some level of Excel at the very minimum. So if you're looking to transition into accountancy, you need to start learning Excel, okay? You need to start getting comfortable with some of the formulas that are regularly used by accountants in the sector, okay? So including things like VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, and other types of different Excel formulas. So you need to start getting familiar with those formulas and using them on a regular basis. I would say that if you can get yourself from basic level of Excel to advanced level of Excel, that is amazing. The next thing I wish I knew before starting my career is the fact that broadening your experience will actually really help your career out. Now, in a way, I kind of accidentally did this because of the sort of graduate program that I was on when I was on my training. It was a rotational graduate program, which basically exposed me to different areas of accountancy anyway. But I would say that in hindsight, as part of doing this, it actually turned out really well for my career in the long run. So I would say that this is something that I accidentally stumbled into as a result of the graduate program that I applied for. But nonetheless, just in case you're not aware, I would strongly suggest that if you're looking to go into accountancy as a career, you should be thinking about what are the ways you can broaden your exposure, broaden, the areas of accountancy and finance that you're exposed to as part of your qualification process. So the work experience that you are gaining, are you gaining work experience in, some parts of management accounting, a bit of financial accounting, are you possibly even gaining some tax accountancy knowledge as part of it? What sort of fundamental, niche areas of accountancy are you being exposed to as part of your training process? The reason I'm telling you this is because it will pay off dividends massively by the time you qualify. Of course, when you qualify, you then would then have the choice to say, okay, I want to focus more on, I don't know, being a management accountant, or I want to focus more on being a tax accountant as the years go on. But I would say in the very early stages, definitely as you're, going through your qualification process, it is something you should be thinking about. Try as much as possible to broaden, your exposure in your early days of your training. It will help massively. Trust me. Next thing I wish I knew was the importance of having great presentation skills. Now, this is a must, particularly if you are looking to build your career in accountancy and you are looking to go for senior roles. Okay, so a lot of senior roles require you to have strong leadership skills, and having great presentation skills is one of the ways you're able to actually demonstrate those presentation skills. So if you're someone who is shy, you need to start working on that. Okay, I cannot sugarcoat it, but you do need to start working on that, because you simply cannot really break into the senior roles if you lack presentation skills. The reason for this is that presentation skills become more and more important the higher up you go in your career ladder, and generally the more senior the roles are, presentation skills become an absolute must. So if you're someone who doesn't have good presentation skills, but you're looking to actually build up your career in accountancy, then I would strongly recommend that you start to work on improving your presentation skills. I would even go as far as saying that presentation skills are even very important at the start of your accountancy career, because a lot of graduate schemes, a lot of trainee accountancy programs will very often sometimes include presentation tasks that they want you to do as part of the assessment process to actually qualify and get the job. So I would say that working on your presentation skills is an absolute must if you're looking to, really build a formidable career in accountancy in the long run. So definitely start practicing. Next thing I want to say is the importance of dealing with people. Now, if you're an introvert like I am mostly, then you might really struggle with this. But accountancy is a career that you simply cannot do without having to deal with other people. I know that for a lot of people, they might have this idea of an accountant being, a number cruncher, crunching numbers away on the corner of, the offices, etc. But actually, in today's age, in the modern world that we live in, your role as an accountant is more than just number crunching. Your role as an accountant will mean that you have to deal with other people, definitely across other areas of the business, other areas of the organization. So you might find yourself working with, senior HR people, for instance, or working with those in IT, or working with, those in estates, or those on the capital team. It's definitely very important that you work on your people skills, work on how well do you handle conflicts. Are you someone who's good at handling negotiations? These are all things that I feel that will really help you if you start to practice them sooner rather than later. And if I'm being very honest, this is also a concept, or rather a competency, that will also be tested at quite a few interviews if you're looking to actually get into accountancy. So I feel like the takeaway point from today should be, what are the things you need to start doing to actually help you prepare for starting that journey into accountancy? What can you start to do now ahead of time to get you fully prepared, or at least partly prepared, for a career in accountancy, particularly if you're someone who is very, very new to the field and you're considering a career in accountancy. I do have other videos that I have created for those who are looking to explore a career in accountancy, so do make sure you check those out as well. If you have any particular questions that you want me to answer, maybe even any particular interview questions that you might be struggling with, then either leave them in the comment section for me below or drop me an email, and I will try and do videos around them to actually help people who are looking to get into the field. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please do me a favor by giving this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. And also tap that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you are notified every time a new video goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.